What a game to kick off the series between the Hawks and the Sixers. It had everything from epic lob dunks in crunch time to epic meltdowns inbounding the ball, and even an epic half-court pass out of a baseline trap in the clutch. This game was dramatic, frenzied, and a ton of fun. It's great to see a team led by a young star pull off an upset against the first seed, but it was even better to see how the Hawks did it. There was a multitude of beautiful plays by Atlanta in Game 1, and it was all about Trae Young. On the opening play of the game, he got started by running pick and roll with Clint Capella and rejecting the screen to drive. His drive sucks in Ben Simmons, and he makes the simple pass to Bogdan Bogdanovic for the three. The fluidity of Trae's game is what impressed me the most, and early in the game here, he puts Danny Green in jail, then penetrates to draw Embiid out of fear of the floater, but with Embiid stepping up, Seth Curry was no match for the length of Clint Capella as Trae lobs it to him here. He played pick and roll with basically everyone on the team, and here he runs it with John Collins, who gets the easy push shot. Trae's able to create pockets of space for himself. As you see here, his pass fake to Capella keeps Embiid backpedaling, and Trae has all the room in the world to get off his floater. One of my favorite plays of the game was Trae pump faking on a step back three against Simmons, and once Simmons is in the air, he runs a give and go to draw Embiid out, and Embiid isn't quick enough to stop Trae's dribble penetration going baseline, and Trae makes an incredible mid-air pass for an open three. Then the Hawks ran a ton, and I mean a ton, of double staggered screens for Trae. On the first one, the first screener rolls and the second screener pops. Trae hits Collins on the pop, which forces a switch, and now you have Trae on Tobias Harris. I don't really think of this as a mismatch, but Trae clearly does, as he easily blows by Harris to draw Embiid before once again lobbing it up to Capella. Here, Trae runs pick and pop with Kevin Huerter, and instead of driving, he crosses over Danny Green for the deep three. And it wasn't all just fancy plays from him, as here he runs pick and roll with Capella and rejects the screen for the easy layup. Here he runs another pick and roll with Capella, and Capella dives early to get Embiid backpedaling, which gives Trae all the room he needs to pull up from three. So late in the quarter, Trae's shooting and playmaking stats were fantastic, which would eventually lead the Sixers to trapping his pick and roll actions later in the game. The Hawks went to a sort of Spain pick and roll action here, where the first screener pops, and then the big man sets a back screen on the poppers man. Usually when you see Spain pick and roll, it's the other way around, with the pop man setting the back screen. But it works for the Hawks here because earlier we saw the Sixers switch Harris onto Trae, and assuming they're sticking with that strategy, getting screened immediately after you execute a switch can really confuse the defense, and here Trae Young gets a floater. The Hawks went back to this same action, and this time the Sixers were more prepared for it, and Embiid had to switch onto Trae. But it's clear that while the Sixers initially want that switch, they also want to switch Danny Green back onto Trae very quickly. And here Trae Nash dribbles, and since he anticipates the switch back, he knows Embiid won't contest him if he tries this shot here. So when he pump fakes the shot, Danny Green of course bites on the pump fake, and Trae gets to the line. On this pick and roll with John Collins, the Sixers decide to hedge the action, but Trae easily dribbles around Harris, and when he dribbles into the lane to draw Embiid, it's another lob, but this time to Collins. The Sixers tried just about everything with these double staggered screens, and here you see they switch both screens, but then Danny Green decides to once again switch Embiid out of the mismatch, so Trae knows there will be a split second to get an uncontested shot off, and he drains it. So the Hawks kept going back to this action, and here Trae rejects the first of the screens to drive, and after drawing in the corner defender, he makes the easy read for the assist. This time, Solomon Hill decides to dive before setting the screen, which draws in help from the corner. Once his man leaves him, Huerter lifts to the wing and Trae passes it to him while Hill relocates to the corner. With the defender needing to rotate to the wing, the corner is now open and Hill drains the shot. In the second half, the Sixers got more aggressive on this action, but here John Collins is now left wide open and he hits the three. Finally, the Hawks decided to run something different, and here you see floppy action for Kevin Huerter, where he runs off the off-ball screen, and as Seth Curry has a difficult time shooting the gap, Huerter drives while Collins dives, and Collins diving draws Embiid, leaving Capella open for the lob. But back to the double staggered screens for Trae. With the attention that he commands on these traps, his teammates are able to play with an advantage, and here Huerter gets the ball with a 4-on-3 advantage. His drive draws Embiid while Embiid's man dives, which forces Harris to rotate away from the corner. Huerter makes the right read to the corner, and it's an open three. And this time, on the Trae Young Kevin Huerter pick and pop, the Sixers trap and Trae hits Huerter on the pop at the wing. The corner man has to rotate up, leaving the corner open, and when Huerter hits the corner, the Sixers are now in rotation mode, with Gallo open on the weak side. After a beautiful skip pass, Gallo is able to drive in for a dunk. This might be the play of the game right here. We see a Trae Young Bogdanovic pick and pop, which flows into a flare screen for Bogdanovic. Since Bogdan is such a lethal shooter, Embiid has to step up to contest him, so Simmons has to rotate from the corner to stop Capella. So Bogdanovic hits the open man in the corner, so Collins attacks the closeout and makes the right read for the hockey assist on the corner three. And once again, when Trae forces the switch onto Embiid, Embiid's expecting Trae's man to recover, so he leaves Trae with this open close floater. And then a whole bunch of dramatic stuff started happening in this one, but those are the plays that I thought were noticeable from an X's and O's perspective. So I hope you enjoyed, and in the comments, let me know who you think will win the series. And remember to subscribe to this channel for notifications on future videos.